Good morning, I'm Philip Rice, and this morning I'd like to talk to you about a nightingale. Because on several occasions recently I've been drawn from the bosom of sleep at around 2 o'clock in the morning by an unbelievably mellifluous sound emanating from somewhere in the foliage of the tall tree outside my bedroom window. This extravagant, rippling melody is like the outpouring of a heart, so abundantly filled with joy that it has no choice but to overflow. And it's actually the song of a nightingale. At least I think it's a nightingale. Well, I suppose I'm about 85% sure that it must be a nightingale. All right, I have to confess that I can't be absolutely confident about the identity of this bird. But the thing is, it makes a beautiful sound in the very early hours of the morning. It sings at night, and it would probably continue to do so if there was a gale. What else can I say? Okay, I suppose there is an outside chance that what I could be dealing with here is an insomniac blackbird. The song of a blackbird is said to be very similar to that of a nightingale. It seems unlikely though, don't you think? Are blackbirds known for their inability to sleep? And even if they are, they wouldn't end up singing with their hearts out with joy in the middle of the night, would they? You don't do that when you can't sleep for being depressed. It must be a nightingale. It must be. But how can I be absolutely sure? It's far too dark at that time of night to see a little brown bird in the undergrowth. Short of persuading an unwilling expert on the songs of British birds to hang around in my bedroom on the off chance of a performance on that particular night, or spending a load of money to hire some of that infrared equipment for seeing things in the dark, or recording the sound that the creature makes to play back to the expert who wasn't particularly keen on spending the night in my bedroom. I don't see how I can ever be truly certain that what I'm hearing is a nightingale. I bet John Keats didn't have this problem. Well, I say that. Maybe he did. Maybe he buttonholed a friend one morning and put the problem squarely to him. The thing is, Eric, there's this bird that sings outside my bedroom window every night. I think it's a nightingale. And I'm really keen to write a moving but fairly miserable ode on it. But only if I can be sure that it's definitely not something else. What I really don't want is to make a plonker of myself going on and on about a light-winged dryad of the trees singing of summer in full-throated ease if it turns out to have been a different bird altogether. Ode to a jet-lagged starling doing nightingale impressions doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Do you get my drift? No doubt Eric, being a sensible sort of fellow, would have said something along the lines of, "John, my old mate, what does it matter if you can't be absolutely sure? You hear a beautiful song in the middle of the night, it's probably a nightingale. You want to write about it, get on with it. Have a quick beaker full of the warm south to get you in the mood, and then put quill to paper. You'll be done in no time. Sorted or what?" Eric's point is a good one. What does it matter to me that I'm unable to conclusively identify the source of such beauty? Why can I not relax and surrender myself to the enjoyment of an experience that needs no labels? A rose is a rose is a rose, whatever you decide to call it. That's more or less what Shakespeare said, and he was right. I need to battle with this completion neurosis of mine. A very old friend died a while ago. Before I became a follower of Jesus, he filled a parenting gap in my life so effectively that my self-esteem was able to find a tiny platform from which to face and tackle a world that appeared very threatening. Later, when I became a Christian, I went through a compartmentalizing phase common to many new converts in the 60s. Anything or anyone that could not be given a narrowly evangelical label had no real place in what I short-sightedly thought of as the spiritual world. My friend, not being a Christian, was one of those who must necessarily be excluded from this world until such time as he saw the light and gave his heart and asked Jesus into his heart. God, forgive my ignorance and my stupid pomposity. I was given my friend at a time when I needed him most, and his love and support came from the heart of God. He offered me much more than a cup of water, and he will be rewarded accordingly. The song of a nightingale and the love of God, beautiful things that simply fill our hearts. It doesn't matter which direction they come from, and labels don't change them in the slightest. With thanks to Adrian Plass.